Hello, it's Kirsten Liebelt. Good to see you guys. Jump on in. It's Friday. We should all be like celebrating. It's Friday. Do the happy dance like peanuts or something. We should all be dancing. Good to see you guys. Jump on in. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you could be doing everything right and still be really struggling with belly fat. Belly fat. Every day we come and we chat about everything through the lens of insulin resistance. It is the number one thing that I talk behind the scenes about with you guys every single day. I literally just got done sending, I don't know how many voice messages to people who are really struggling with belly fat. And it's just something that I feel like if we could understand some of the nuances, you could tweak your way. Let's tweak your way to like maybe better body composition, because this is a hormonal conversation. This is not a calorie in, calorie out conversation. Calories matter. Of course they do, blah, blah, blah. But if you do not look at things through the lens of insulin resistance, listen. Insulin is a hormone, and it's a fat storing hormone. And when it's high, you can't burn fat. So it has this amazing ability to create your belly fat and then block you from losing it. And this is why we end up on this treadmill of frustration. I'm a little wonky there. Anyway, so let's just get into it and talk about it today. Today's Friday. Housekeeping, the next 5-day challenge that is free $99 in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women starts on Monday, March 11th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I will go live Monday through Friday, and we will do ingredient trade outs. And listen, I'm Italian. So hello, I raised my hand. I lost 3 sizes in my 50s doing exactly what I teach you guys. Exactly. Like I'm not making it, I'm not blowing any smoke. I'm so glad, Sue. Good to see you. Good to see you. So that's on March 11th, Monday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the other thing too is that between now and the end of February, between now and the end of February, and some of you have already been jumping on it, and I'm getting ready to mail these out. I am mailing out measuring tapes, one measuring tape for those who are jumping on the thermogenic, the orange pixie stick bandwagon. And the reason why is this. If you haven't seen any of the testimonies, like Matt, good morning. If you haven't seen them, go to my stories on Instagram or Facebook. Go to my stories and see where I've been talking about the visceral fat being actually like legitimately tracked by an in-body scan and losing 4 or 5 points on their visceral fat scale in 30 days. Somebody else losing in a 90-day run, 3.5 inches from right here under her bra, 2 inches off her waist and 1 inch off her hips. Like this is like for real 2025 science. It's a clinical dose extract. I don't want to really like take time away from our conversation here, but I just want you to know 3 boxes is 90 days. And so those of you that are grabbing that and saying, I want a difference in my inches, my body composition, and my fat loss between now and spring, because 90 days from now is May. So hello, summer, welcome. And so for those that I'm going to send you a tape measure. You've got to start measuring yourself. I just had a testimony yesterday. I put it up in my stories, and she said, I just got 2 more boxes so that I can finish up my 90-day run. I did 1 month. I should have measured. And I'm telling everybody, listen, I made that mistake. I didn't measure either. But you do 90 days, take 30 days off, do another round, do them in rounds. Okay. So this is where we're at today. We're going to talk about belly fat. Good morning, Patty. Good to see you. And always reach out to me if you need any help on that. So here we go. We're going to talk about the hidden reasons why maybe belly fat is still your struggle. And this has definitely been, they always say that there are parts of your body that lose fat last, or that you see the difference in last. And I feel like belly fat is definitely one of them. It's the first sign of insulin resistance, in my opinion. It seemingly is the first sign of insulin resistance. I grew up Italian, remember? So my vantage point was as a little girl looking up at all my uncles and their big bellies, really big, hard bellies. And then they would take their belt and they would put it below their belly. And I am not even lying to you when I say that they would argue with each other about the fact that they had a 32-inch waist. I mean, talk about living in delusional land. I mean, honestly, people, come on. So anyway, but that was normal to me. I mean, I have memories of, they would grab you by the arm. Did anybody else have a family like this? They would grab you by the arm and then they would, like, as a little kid, and they would like kind of like pull you in fast and you would bounce off their belly and ha ha ha, we'd laugh. Well, I am telling you what, there wasn't much funny about that when my dad then died at 63. Like, that wasn't funny anymore, right? But as a little kid, literally, I grew up with not only are bellies fun, but there's nothing, you're just going to have bellies and there's nothing you can do about it. No talk, of course, of turning around any insulin resistance. So I'm just telling you, this is the reality of my life. Good morning, Magda. Good to see you. So when we talk about having belly fat being the first symptom, the reason why is this. Because for years before you find out that your sugars are high, so many of you come to me and you say, my sugars are fine, but I have this belly that I can't get rid of. Could it be insulin resistance? And the answer is probably yes. And so the reason why is because insulin is rising and rising and rising in your body, and it's a fat storing hormone. So it's creating your belly fat. Like, let's get going. Let's just store that fat because it can't get into your cell anymore. The insulin can't get into your cell with the glucose. So as this is happening, you're frustrated, but yet it's not showing up in your sugars yet, your blood glucose. And so your doctor is telling you that your labs are good. We're good to go. And you're not understanding why. So that's why I love having this conversation, because if you can make that connection, and even if just one of you makes this connection today, it is worth it. Because then the testimonies that I end up getting from people are like 3 weeks ago, my customer texted me and she said she had started the Trio in July. Those are the 3 supplements that I talk about that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. She started them in July. And by January, her doctor put not diabetic in her chart. So it's worth it if one of you makes this connection, and that it's not just about vanity, it's actually about really dealing with your health. So instead of focusing on all of the usual diets and the workouts that you've been told to do, which a lot of them are working against you, especially like if that program was not made for somebody who's insulin resistant, this is a problem, right? Like the program that tells you that 5 cups of popcorn is 1 point. I don't know if they still say that anymore. I'm not sure because I'm not a part of it. But the biggest issue with that is that it actually turns into 9 teaspoons of sugar in your blood. Just saying. So instead of focusing on stuff like that, let's talk about things like this. So I have 5 things. 5 reasons or 5 things that you could tweak or pay attention to. And you might already be doing some of these. So that is great. Oh, Lisa, thank you. Oh my gosh. Lisa said she loves my jacket. So Lisa, since you are local to Minnesota, it was at a boutique up on Central. Y'all just enjoying our coffee conversation. On Central, it's called Rachel's Closet. Anyway, okay. And you can look at them online too. I think the design, whatever, it's risen. Anyway. Just got that. Yeah. All right. So number 1, liver overload. How sluggish is your liver? Now I talk about this with you guys all the time. And in fact, I don't even have my gut primer by me. What is wrong with me? How can that possibly be? I did already take it today, but I talk about your liver all the time because if your liver is tired and toxic, you will not burn fat. Sluggish liver holds on to fat. Period. Number 1. Number 2. Cortisol and belly fat. So we've actually done lives where we've talked about the cortisol belly, the insulin belly. Most of us kind of have a combination of 2. And so we're kind of working both sides of the same coin because they're both hormones. But if you go back to the liver, number 1, the liver is what governs your hormones. It governs the glucose in your blood. It metabolizes your fat. So you should be loving your liver. Love your liver. And I know I'm weird, and that's okay. I'm for somebody. My husband knows I'm weird. It's okay. We've been married 37 years, and he still hasn't left me. So there you go. We're doing good. So that's the stress connection that keeps your weight stuck. Cortisol. It definitely keeps your weight stuck, and it's very, very frustrating. Hold on. Tell me. Hold on. I'm just typing. All right. So when cortisol, so the stress connection, it's your body's primary stress hormone. It's going to trigger fat storage. So remember, we talk about insulin. Well, cortisol too. It triggers your fat storage. It increases your blood sugar and your insulin resistance. It disrupts your sleep, and it slows down your metabolism. That's what high cortisol is doing. And we do live a hustle culture. I have so many of you guys, my customers, that are, maybe you're doing a night shift. I just talked again to a nurse that is doing a night shift, and she's like, it's challenging. I'm like, yep. That's when I talk to you guys about ashwagandha and magnesium before bed. Okay. So if there's a cortisol connection, maybe you've been taking care of a dementia parent, maybe you work a night shift, maybe finances are really stressful right now for you. And, you don't know what to do about that. By the way, it's not a fit for everybody. I always kind of do a little bit of an interview process, but if somebody does need to know about making money online, you can reach out to me, because I do connect up with people like that. But if your cortisol is high, it's literally increasing your blood sugar, increasing your insulin resistance. It's disrupting your sleep. It's slowing down your metabolism. And so those two hormones, insulin and cortisol, we got to deal with them. We have to deal with them. But it's literally triggering your fat storage. That's so rude. It's so rude. All right. So number 3 is lymphatic drainage. And we've talked about this too. I don't know if any of you do any like gua sha, like on your face, like using the tools, but that can help with lymphatic drainage kind of up here. I know I follow somebody who was talking about how before she does her morning routine, and I have not incorporated this yet. And actually it doesn't matter. But she talks about how she literally goes, and this might make noise, so I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make noise on my microphone. She goes under her arms, and she really starts to rub her lymph system underneath her arms, and she gets that going. And then she teaches how she goes to this area, and she's working her lymph system here. And then she's using like a gua sha, and she's going up here, but she's coming down here. She has this process for lymphatic drainage. Okay. That's a really big piece of the puzzle, right? And I know that there are many other things. There's dry brushing, etc., that can be very helpful for things like that. Stagnant lymph leads to stubborn belly bloat and fat retention. Isn't that interesting? Like, we don't think that. We just keep running our bodies like, a rented car. We just keep going because our bodies are tough and they seemingly can just take a lot, right? So we just keep going. Number 4 is your gut microbiome and your fat storage. So this is where I talk to you guys a lot about the gut primer that apparently I'm trying to see. I can see it on my counter. So the gut primer, it looks like a greens product, but it's not. It actually has 6 different blends in it. You guys, I really doubt that you've ever seen anything like it, because it's just really new to the scene. And a gut primer can change the way that your liver health is functioning. It can change the way that your metabolism is working. It can help you to absorb nutrients better. But it can also help then, like it says, your gut bacteria is determining your fat burning. Who wants to make sure their gut bacteria, right? Like if it's determining your fat burning, we don't maybe always think in these terms. And I was the least granola person ever. Like, had you told me to make these kinds of changes, 12 years ago, because I started really a lot of this just a little over 10 years ago. But if you would have told me that, like I'm not going to trade out my food ingredients. I'm not going to start supplementing. I wasn't going to do anything. Hello, Kristen. Good to see you. I wasn't going to do any of that. So to really be able to come on here and say, you guys, listen, These are the things that I have found to be 100% true. Like shifting the way that your gut is functioning. I mean, I've taken a probiotic forever, a really good one that has 5 strains and it has stay alive technology and it has stick to the gut technology and it's a little powder stick and I put it on my tongue and it's amazing. I've done that forever. But I never knew how I could change, kind of like level up and change the game until they launched a gut primer. And now I'm like, wow, well, I'm not quite sure how we've been doing it without that. But your gut microbiome, your gut bacteria will determine your fat burning. And then the last one are obesogens and hidden toxins. Oh my gosh. Okay, so story time. When I was raising my kids, we were out on 20 acres on a little hobby farm north of the cities. And we homeschooled. And my girlfriend and she is a laundry lover. I was never a laundry lover. I'm still not a laundry lover. Excuse me, but she really loved to hang out her clothes. And so once a week, we would go shopping. We'd go in town to go grocery shopping, only once. And, everything was budgeted out and we cut all of our coupons and everything. And I was an overuser, of laundry detergent and fabric softener. And the most common one that comes to your head is the one that I was using, the one that starts with a T and the one that starts with a D. And I was using those like crazy pants. And I mean, if my clothes came out and they reeked, I had done a good job. And then I would hang them out on the line. But I did notice, and it was very frustrating, that after they hung in my closet for not too long, they began to have a very weird smell. Well, I never really, I wasn't thinking through life. I was still bringing things to a dry cleaner and not thinking anything of it. And I'm not against that. I'm just saying, like, I wasn't processing anything about chemicals. I wasn't having any moment of this. My cleaning was fabuloso, whatever, just things that were not beneficial at all. Well, what happened was I ended up breaking out in eczema all over my body. And it took me, I always try not to exaggerate, but I think it took me a good solid 2 years, probably more, but I'll underestimate it to figure it out, because my mom had eczema. So I thought, oh, it's genetic. Isn't everything just genetic? So I thought, oh man, I got eczema from my mom. No, I was overusing toxins and my body was responding and saying, excuse me, could you just freaking stop it now? Like, your skin is your biggest organ. Could you stop? So what happens are obesogens are sneaky chemicals in your environment that make you store fat. Did you have any idea that chemicals make you store fat? That is a crazy, like, we live in 2025 and I'll bet most of us have never even heard that. Thank you so much on TikTok, you guys. I appreciate you very, very much. I really do. And I never try to like overlook you guys. I really don't. Come in from the balcony though, if you're on the balcony, that'd be great. I mean, just join the party. But that is such a very interesting conversation when it comes to obesogens. I remember the first time that I actually ever did a video on obesogens. This was, I don't even know, 5 years ago or something. And people were flipping out. They were like, what? An obesogen? They had never heard of it, right? Well, neither had I. Phyllis says, there you are, my sunshine friend. Oh, Phyllis, you're awesome. Lovely jacket. Thank you. Oh my, I'm glad I got it. It was really fun to get. Snowy, Arkansas, watching on YouTube. Oh, that's good to know, Phyllis, because going live on YouTube is a different bird. I just kind of throw it out there just to see. Your granddaughter is that way with laundry soap and body soap. That's crazy. Yep, Patty's saying that. Yep. Good afternoon, Anna. Hello, beautiful Anna. It's interesting because when you start to just pause for a second, like just take a step back, look at what we are doing in our society when we take our little prepubescent granddaughters to the mall. And I did it with my kids too. I'm not dissing on anybody. Listen, I was the worst offender of all of this. But I mean, it started with myself back in middle school. Love's Baby Soft. Hello. Could you spray enough Love's Baby Soft? There was never enough. But we go to Bath and Body Works and we go to all of the really bad, trashy candle places. And we tell our girls, our little girls, to just smother their skin with all of these bad chemicals. And it's almost impossible to get away from at this point. So I always want people to not feel so overwhelmed, but just to live in awareness. Kristen, you're amazing. Thank you. Katrina, thank you for following. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When you begin, to look at all of the chemicals around you, I mean, come on, if you ever put new carpeting in your home, you have PFOAs. If you have a new piece of furniture, they've sprayed it for, water for it to be stain resistant. If you're still cooking on Teflon, that can peel off. If you are, like mine is nonstick, but it's a duramic, like a ceramic. That's just a side note. I mean, there are ways that you can do things that are not toxic. You're taking your clothes to the dry cleaner. You're using toxic household cleaners. You're touching receipts on any given day. You are drinking out of, water bottles that are crunchy and, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, just water bottles that can leach microplastics into your water you're drinking. Like the list goes on, right? We're touching aluminum foil and we're doing all these things. Well, if we can just work on the things that we know are like the obvious things, and we just begin to work our way, just work your way, and then go from the inside out. You have to go from the inside out. You have to deal with your liver. You have to deal with what's happening inside of your body to make the biggest change as to how your body is going to function and then give you back results. Because what you do to your body, it will give you back something. It's going to give you back results. So maybe the results are disease and sickness, depending upon what you're doing. But maybe the results are higher functioning and flow. Like when we talk about the gut primer, you guys, like one of the biggest side effects, that's what you want to call it, that's not benefits. Benefits is like moving impacted waste through your system. You got to get you should never, ever, ever be only pooping every 3 to 4 days, ever. Technically, pooping once a day is borderline. You should be eating and eliminating, right? But that's not the world that we've lived in for a really long time. So we just have like sludge moving through our body, and those toxins are just taking up space, and we don't want them in there. So if that was the only reason somebody started to take care of their gut like that, that would be a really good one. But let me just read these. Thank you, Anna. She's the third person who said she loves my jacket. You guys are awesome. Anna, thank you for jumping over there. Ruthie, good to see you. Oh, you guys are all on TikTok today. Thank you. Love you. And it's weird. It looks like I have a filter on TikTok, and I didn't put any filter on TikTok. I don't know why it looks that way. I look darker. Like my screen looks darker. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so let me just go through these really quickly so that you have these fresh in your brain. And then I'll tell you exactly what are some of your options, okay? So number one, if you're trying to really tweak your belly fat situation, whether it's cortisol or insulin or both, most of the time it's just both. It could be happening because of liver overload. Focus on helping your liver. Number two, if it's cortisol, belly fat, you've got to deal with the stress, right? You have to deal with the stress. Lymphatic drainage could really, really help with belly fat, believe it or not. Something that I do want to look into more is like dry brushing, if you've never heard of that. But like I was telling you, I've been recently I watched a tutorial where she's talking about she starts underneath her arms and she gets her lymphs moving, and then she teaches you how to do here and, kind of use a gua sha on your face and to really kind of move stuff out and down like the lymphatic trash can, so to speak, getting your body moving. And of course, walking, rebounding, anything that gets your body moving. Number four is your gut microbiome, because imbalanced microbiome is storing fat. So you're storing fat because your liver is tired. You're storing fat because you have high cortisol. You're storing fat because your lymph system is stagnant. It's kind of swampy in your body. You're storing fat because your gut microbiome is off. You're storing fat because of the toxins in your life. So just start to eliminate and do one thing at a time, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. And it can make all the difference in the world. Okay. So the different things that, I talk about on a very regular basis is if number one, you're one of three people today. You're either the first person who's like, listen, I'm insulin resistant and I want to deal with my insulin resistance. I want to deal with I have high sugars, or my sugars aren't high yet, but I have belly fat. And I do believe it's because I'm insulin resistant. I've been told I have a fatty liver. I've been told that, I have a borderline A1C, all of that stuff. You want to talk to me about the trio. Those are the three supplements. I don't even know. I probably took them because that's just what I do. Here we go. So you want to talk to me about the trio. That's what you want to talk to me about. And the reason why is because these are three supplements that have three ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. Some of the best testimonies that I've been receiving are somebody having not diabetic put in her chart in this January. She started this in July. Okay. Somebody else, she worked with her doctor with meds for 3 years and could not get down her morning sugars. Like it took her, and for some reason she got connected with me and she's like, I just thought I've got nothing else to lose. Like she was already on berberine. She was already on inositol. And she's like, I got nothing else. So she started with the trio, these three, and she dropped her morning sugars by 30 points and lost 14 pounds in 2.5 months because there's that connection. But now if you're like somebody who's saying, well, okay, maybe that, but I really have got to deal with my gut. Like, Lord help me. Maybe you're constipated. Maybe you're indigested. You have indigestion. Maybe you're just not sleeping well at night, or you are really fatigued. I will tell you the stories. In fact, I know Ruthie had told me that testimony, and I'm trying to remember, for years, I think she's in her 70s. It's a customer in her 70s, had not slept well for years until she started using the gut primer, because it just moved everything along and it got her body up and running. Okay. And I do have a probiotic that you can talk to me about with that. And then the last thing is that for anybody, and this is where these tape measures are coming in, you guys, I went ahead and I grabbed another round of tape measures, because if you're going to take the orange pixie stick, if you're going to take this thermogenic powder for 90 days, please measure yourself. And I know I've said it a million times, and listen, I'm the worst offender. I did not measure myself when I started, and I should have. I had somebody reach out to me yesterday. She said, I did 30 days. I should have measured. I just bought 2 more boxes. 1 box is a month. So anybody who's purchasing 90-day supply of the thermogenic, I'm going to send you a tape measure, because I want you to measure your body. Measure underneath your bra, measure your waist, measure your hips right across your butt, because what it's doing is it's a clinical dose of an extract that is targeting your visceral fat. And if you do not know what visceral fat is, all you need to know is that it's the bad fat. It wraps around your organs, your pancreas, your stomach, your intestines, your liver, and it is active. It is active fat. So the fat that's on your, the fat that's on your arm right here, that's not the dangerous fat. It's annoying, but it's not dangerous. The fat that's in the inside of your knees, it's not the dangerous fat. It's annoying. It frustrates your function, but it's the stuff that's in your trunk, from here, underneath your chest, all the way to your hip. That's the fat that you want to target. So when I get results from people that tell me that their gym has been tracking their weight, their hydration, their muscle, and their visceral fat. This was the testimony that came in last weekend when I did my live event. Hydration up, muscle up, weight down 20 pounds, and visceral fat down. And she was like, oh, and she's in the medical industry. She's a nurse. So I'm just telling you, like, she is, and I'll be honest about it. She is on the Trio and she's using the thermogenic. She actually might be, I would have to check to know for sure if she's on the gut primer, because there is a whole system thought process if somebody wants the whole system, but you can parse them and you can work with what you need to work with for yourself right now. Don't ever feel like it's all or nothing in life. Don't do that. If that were true, I would have never lost 3 sizes in my 50s, ever. Because I was never, ever, ever, and I probably never will be. I shouldn't say that, but I just don't have that attitude. It doesn't work for me. Okay, come Monday, man, I'm going cold turkey. Very few times in my life has that ever worked. So I just know myself. You have to know yourself. So if you want to grab 90 days of the thermogenic and you don't know how to get it, you can put a fire emoji in the comments on Facebook. It'll stay there. Otherwise, Instagram and TikTok, you have to either get into my messages or you can text me. Okay. My phone number is on my profile and you can text me and say, I was on your live and I want to know about that thermogenic thingamajig. And I'll just show that to you. Okay. Because I'm telling you, I've worked really hard not to overhype it, but now between now and the end of February, this is the promo that we're doing. Grab 3 boxes and I'll send you a tape measure. And I've already got cards that I'm writing out because you guys have already been starting to take advantage of it. So I'm already writing out your cards and getting them ready to go in the mail. So I'm just telling you, we're already in process. I just announced it a couple days ago. So there you go. Anyway. All right. Does anybody have any questions today? Does anybody need anything? Otherwise, we will be back Monday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And the next challenge in the group starts March 11th, Monday, March 11th, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. You guys will do ingredient trade outs. The group is Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, FYI. We'll do ingredient trade outs. We'll talk about what is insulin resistance. Like, what is my past? What is it? What's my background? Like, why does this even matter to me as somebody who's Italian and, had so much obesity in my family and type 2, et cetera. But then we'll also do I'll take you into my pantry. Nope. The only person that can see that is Facebook, my pantry and my refrigerator and freezer. And I'll show you a visual and we'll do a recipe. We'll do all of the things. And it is our 22nd challenge, 22. I started the group almost 2 years ago, and we have over 5,000 women in there. And it's a very good, supportive, encouraging, and it's a piece of your puzzle. It's a piece of your puzzle to have somebody that you can connect with and that you can ask questions to and that you can walk journey with. It's actually a piece of your puzzle because more than anything, yes, you do need to, okay, let's see. Maybe you have to put your alarm on your phone. You're going to take this one 3 times a day. You're going to take this one 2 times a day. You're going to take this one 2 times a day. So, maybe you have to get into a routine, but you have to know this is the easiest part, right? It's the easiest part. This is the harder part. Okay. It's your mindset. So to get connected to somebody that can help you with mindset is literally everything. Okay. And then we're live here Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for that reason, because mindset matters. Your heart connection and your emotional connection to food matters. You don't have to have any shame around it. You just have to recognize it. And then you have to learn how to let it go and shift it. And I promise you, you can do that. So anyway, all right. I don't think I'm seeing anything that I have to address right this minute. But again, all of my information, Sue, I do see that. I will get you that information on the fat burner. Such good results. Everybody have such a terrific weekend. Enjoy wherever you are. I think everybody's a little warmer than Minnesota right now. We're really good. But my husband was looking at the weather across the nation this morning because he's on the radio. And he's like, oh my gosh, the entire nation is warmer than we are. What up, Buttercup? I'm like, oh, well, that's okay. We'll figure it out. All right. Have such a good day, you guys. Enjoy. Don't forget to reach out if you need anything.